Hey, I'm Danielle, and today we're talking about that secret ingredient to actually getting things done. So you know that feeling when there's something and you're just like, I really don't want to do this. And for some people, this is calling the bank or calling their phone company, or maybe it's working out. For me, I'll tell you what I avoided like the freaking plague. I took 2 months to actually put in the car claim for when I got rear-ended. And let me tell you something, it literally only took 10 minutes. Okay, so why did I put this off? Sometimes we just don't want to do the things that we don't want to do. But then how do we go from procrastinating and putting it off, to actually getting things done? I'll tell you, we need urgency. We need this feeling like, I'm gonna get this done in a timely manner. Like this feeling of, I'm gonna do this now. Because honestly, then we feel relief because those things just aren't lingering anymore. So what you're about to see is the last few days of my life as I talk through the 3 keys to actually feeling that sense of urgency and instead of procrastinating, actually getting things done. I just got home from a walk and I wanted to share something that happened to me earlier today. For some background, I've been working at home for about a month now, just because of the global pandemic going on, and I've worked from home in the past, but this time I'm just definitely experiencing some new challenges or some, I guess, old challenges that are coming back and I'm needing to deal with. And I definitely had an interesting experience earlier today. So I've kind of been in a little bit of a energy lull because I'm an extrovert and it's weird not being actually in person with my team. And so I really have to kind of push myself to follow through when I'm not getting that same team energy because it's just not the same on a video conference. And there was kind of like an emergency that happened, and you know, in my daily work life before, we would constantly have these like urgent things that popped up, like at least once a day, if not more. And that hasn't really happened as much in a while. It's like things that need to be done within a day, but not things that need to be done immediately. And we had something come up that needed to be done immediately. There's this really important document that we got locked out of because of an old coworker's email having an issue. And I needed to go in and figure it out. And I was almost just like excited by this tech issue that I would normally not be excited by. And it was because I hadn't felt that sense of urgency in a couple weeks that this needs to be done right now. And it made me realize a few things. Too much urgency and you're gonna be stressed out. Not enough urgency and honestly you're bored and it's hard to keep the energy high. At least that's how I feel about it. And if I think about what was actually happening in this situation related to urgency, for me it really felt like accountability. The CEO was waiting for me to get back to him with this document and to be able to access it, and I was working diligently in order to do that. And I don't always need outside accountability, but this was definitely an example of that. If not, you know, this outside accountability, I feel like this is really a driver, whether it's accountability from other people, accountability to yourself, or accountability to your future self, which is just a spin on the last one. So if there's something that's just not happening, whether it's in your work life or otherwise, think about this. How can you create accountability and which is most powerful for you? Other people, accountability to yourself, or to your future self? So I actually was feeling a certain kind of way this morning because I knew that with the last few weeks and what was happening, there were just these lingering tasks in my home life, in my work life, and just that kind of like life admin stuff that just really isn't my thing. So in addition to having that interesting little experience and realization this morning at work, I also was thinking this morning how there were just all these tasks that were just getting pushed off, and I needed, for me, accountability with myself. Now, what is that? I think the simplest form is a checklist. So I pulled out 3 sticky notes, I divided it out in my head because I like compartmentalization, and I said, okay, here's a task for this, this, and this, and just, I kept it in front of my face the whole day. It was like right next to me. And so then, you know, if I'm getting up to go to the bathroom, I'm gonna also water my plants because I put that off for a few days. Or there's something that I've put off for a couple months, and I'm like, that is something I'm gonna get to tonight. And just having that accountability with myself through a list and keeping it right in front of my face created a little more urgency around it. Now, if you want to go for future self, this is really about imagining how great is it going to be when I kind of set myself up in this way of cleaning my room or, you know, applying for that dream job or anything like that. Imagine your future self. And then I think people talk most often about accountability with others. You know, who's that friend that's really gonna be loyal and reliable and ask how things are going? And you know, I've talked about my accountability in the past, accountability partner in the past, and you know, having someone that you check in with every single week can be an awesome thing to do too. And I really just realized, in terms of urgency, getting those lingering things done and just like having this energy around it is really encouraged by accountability. So just like that, if things are getting pushed off, think, how can I create accountability here? From the outside, to myself, or to my future self. All right, I'm just getting going this morning, and I just made myself my little cold brew coffee, which is clearly the star of the shot here this morning, as you can tell. But we're about to talk about the next piece to getting things done instead of like lollygagging around, and it's actually very relevant to coffee, and that is energy and momentum. So I feel like the times that I'm really getting stuff done, it's because I'm high energy, or I feel this sense that like I'm on a roll. So for me, this really looks like, you know, listening to music, or like exercising, or even going on a walk. It looks like, you know, grabbing a cup of coffee sometimes. And it can also be like setting yourself up to feel momentum very purposefully. So if you've got your list of things that you need to get done, or things that you've been avoiding, and there are a couple of things that are smaller on there, if you like get going, get those things done, check them off, even just like drawing that little physical check mark, I feel like for me, that starts to get me going, feeling accomplished, and then I have more drive to do the other things on that list. So my work day is just about to get started. I'm gonna do my best to keep the energy high, get things done, and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, if you're wondering, I am sitting on an exercise ball like a pregnant lady right now. A couple days have passed now since we last talked, and it is freaking gorgeous outside right now, and it's a Friday, so I'm in the best mood, and I'm about to go on a walk. Okay, so my next important point about urgency is that when it's a Friday and when it's really nice out, it's hard to have as much urgency. No, I'm totally kidding, everybody knows that. Anyways, to get to the real point, what I actually wanted to say about urgency is that one thing that people really don't consider much is how identity plays into it. How our identity and what we call ourselves and what we say about ourselves actually factors into how much we're willing to get done and how productive we're able to be. So what this actually has to do with it is that if you call yourself someone who's lazy or someone who's a procrastinator, then you're less likely to make the kinds of decisions to be productive. So the alternative to this is coming up with a new identity. So first off, you want to kind of catch yourself in those times when you do mention, oh, I'm lazy, oh, I'm a procrastinator, and maybe just notice when it's happening and not make it who you are. Then you can flip that. You can say, okay, how am I gonna identify myself now? Am I the kind of person who blank, 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 like fill in that space. I'm the kind of person who does things at the first opportunity. Then your brain's gonna filter through that. And when you see something that needs to be picked up or see a small task that you can check off, you're gonna say, oh, I'm someone who does things at the first opportunity, and you're gonna be more likely to actually accomplish it in that moment. It seems small and it seems kind of insignificant, but I swear it does make the difference. So just consider, how do I identify myself? Is it actually serving me, and do I need to flip it? Do I need to come up with a new identity that's gonna kind of filter through my brain and help me to act differently and be more productive? All right, we've been on this video long enough. What are you gonna do now to create that sense of urgency? Are you gonna make your list, call your accountability buddy? Are you gonna brew that cup of coffee and check that first thing off the list? Are you gonna do that identity flip and say, I am banning procrastinator from my vocabulary. I get things done at the first opportunity. I'm telling you, if you do any of these things, you make me a happy gal. And I will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Click subscribe so that you can stay in the loop, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye.